For any athlete that needs to develop the ability to be explosive over and over again, which is what we've already covered a lot of, one of the best ways to do that as far as the muscular explosiveness itself is what we call the explosive repeat method. And the goal here is simply to develop the ability to maintain explosive power over and over again. At the same time, we're also teaching recovery through that dynamic energy control we've been talking about throughout the course. So the way we're going to do this method is we're going to pick an explosive method, or explosive exercise, I should say, that's going to allow us to measure some sort of power output or some sort of work output. For this particular example, we're going to use double leg bounds, which is something you're going to want to use with athletes that have a lower body explosive component to it, which most athletes are going to fall into that category. Now, typically what you're going to do is something like 8 to 10 seconds of work, which it generally translates into 10 to 12 bounds or somewhere in that range. Because we're limited a bit in space in the gym, we're just going to have him do, Mike here is going to do 5 bounds. But essentially what we're doing is 5 bounds as far as he possibly can go. Then we're going to mark the distance he was able to cover with those 5 bounds. We're going to do 60 seconds of active recovery or active rest, focusing on dynamic energy control and having to bring the heart rate down as quickly as possible. And then we're going to have him repeat that explosive work period. And our goal here is to see how many times he can hit the same distance over and over again, showing us he can maintain that maximum level of explosive power. So double leg bounds are a great way because we can measure the distance that he's able to cover and see whether or not he's actually able to maintain that. You can do it also with some medicine balls or explosive push-ups for upper body purposes, but the downside is you really can't measure the power output of the explosiveness because it's not able to be measured. You know, typically with a medicine ball or a push-up, now you can still accomplish the same thing. You just don't have a way of being quite as precise in terms of measuring improvement. And remember, going back to how the brain functions, constant improvement is the most important thing to maintain a high level of motivation to perform and to just maintain that, that desire in the brain to value that reward system, that reward that's going to come because they've seen the improvements from the work they're actually doing. So this is another good example of we can be very clear in setting the goal of how many repetitions we're looking to see them maintain their endurance. And then as they're able to meet that goal or exceed it, there's that reward system that they achieved the goal, they met the expectations, and they're more motivated to come back and do it again than if they didn't have a particular goal or they didn't see any improvement. If you told them, you know, last time you did 7 and they came in the next time and got 5 or 6, what's their motivation? They didn't see the improvement from the work they'd put in. So we want to always be striving to see constant improvement. So again, enough about that. We'll go ahead and actually get started now. So we're going to have him walk back to a starting point. I'm going to pick up my measuring cone here. And again, what he's going to look for is a double leg bound covering as much different distance, indicating as much explosive power as you can possibly generate. Okay, so whenever you're ready, you're going to do 5 bounds. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and mark that distance. Okay, he's going to go ahead and pick up the jump rope. And he's going to do 60 seconds. And the goal here, drive the heart rate down. Okay, we're not going to show you his heart rate in this one, but our goal is to just keep things smooth. Okay, allow his body to recover, allow him to control his energy, and then we're going to have him jump again. I'll start the timer here. Okay, and we're going again for 60 seconds. Controlled recovery. Okay, controlled active recovery is the name of the game. Most sports are going to have an active recovery component in between their exertion periods. Now, I'm not saying all sports do. Some sports you're almost stationary in between, but most sports have some level of active recovery component in between the explosive work efforts. And that's why it's so crucial to develop that actual recovery ability. To see their numbers improve means they're able to maintain that explosive power more and more over time. So it's 30 seconds. We'll give him about another 30 seconds. You can see his jump rope skills are a little rusty, but he's a weightlifter, so we'll forgive him for that. Okay, about 20 more seconds, and then we're going to have him do that again. What we're looking for, like I said, is can he maintain that explosive power over time? Can he hit the cone? And typically I like to do this to where if they miss the cone twice, that's when we call the sets, that's when we call the exercise. And our goal here, like I said, is each week we should see him able to get that more and more times. All right, that's good. So go ahead and just walk back. And again, you don't have to use jump rope. You can use any sort of active recovery exercise. You can use a sport-specific exercise, for example. So a combat athlete might do shadow boxing or might do some sort of grappling drill, pad work, whatever the case may be. Okay, so again, 5 jumps. Okay, and you can see he was able to maintain that same distance. So we'll go ahead and start the timer. I'll just have him do one more for the sake of demonstration here. Okay, go ahead and start. Okay, now again, because the work period here is relatively short, it's only 8 to 10 seconds is what we're shooting for. This is a little bit shorter because of the time or the distance constraints, but we should work up to a fairly large number of volume of these. We should be able to do anywhere from like 10 to 20 sets. And that's the goal. You should see someone be able to maintain their power at least 10 times. Now, someone who's a lower level, someone who's a beginner, maybe they can't quite do that, but the goal is to work up 10, 15, 18, 20 repetitions, being able to maintain that distance that they achieved on the first jump within a few inches of where to hit. So again, our goal here is endurance. It's explosive endurance, which is such a key component of so many sports. You got 20 more seconds. Okay, and again, it's teaching relaxation during the active recovery phase. We want to see respiration. We want to see relaxed face. We want to see good posture, good control, all those sorts of things. Okay, there's about a minute. And we'll just do one last one. Again, this is only 3, so we shouldn't have too much of a problem maintaining his jump distance. But this is just a great way to measure and to get somebody to actively shoot for a target versus just some sort of arbitrary time period. Good. Okay, and as you can see, he was able to maintain that again. So like I said, the goal here, we want to work up 10, 20 sets, being able to maintain that time. Each and every week, our goal should be to see an improvement. We should be able to maintain our endurance or maintain our explosiveness for longer, which means more repetitions. And we should see over time that capacity to do that is gradually getting better and better and better. As soon as they can start to do, in that 15 to 20 rep range and maintain that, then the goal should be to increase the work period. So we might start out at 8 to 10 jumps. As soon as they can get up in that 15 to 20 repetition range where they're able to hit that every single time, then we're going to start to go maybe 12 seconds, maybe up to 15 seconds. And we can gradually start to decrease the work interval at the same time. So again, the closer we get to a competition, we're talking about off-season and preseason, the longer we can make the work interval, the shorter we can make the rest interval, with the goal being the maintenance of explosive power over and over again. And of course, we always want to see their technique being maintained as they're progressing as well. So they should be able to maintain proper body positioning, proper posture. They should be able to have good technique from the start to the finish. So explosive repeat, great method to develop explosive endurance in those faster twitch fibers and develop the ability to be explosive over and over again.